Paul Manafort worked for me for a very short period of time. He worked for Ronald Reagan. He worked for Bob Dole. He worked for John McCain, or his firm did. He worked for many other Republicans. He worked for me, for 49 days or something? A very short period of time. I feel badly for some people because they've gone back 12 years to find things about somebody, and I don't think it's right. I don't think it's right that they burst into a lawyer's office on a weekend and early in the morning. I'd never heard of that before. I mean, could you imagine if they burst into Barack Obama's lawyer's office? It would not be acceptable. It would not be acceptable. I mean, that's really a terrible thing. Now, I feel badly for a lot of those people. I feel badly for General Flynn. He's lost his house. He's lost his life. And some people say he lied, and some people say he didn't lie. I mean, really, it turned out maybe he didn't lie. But how can you do that?
And since we're talking about...
Who can you do that? Because who's lied more than Comey? I mean, Comey lied a tremendous amount.
And since we're talking about... Since you say that you feel badly, is there any consideration at any point of a pardon for any of the people?
I don't want to talk about that. No, I don't want to talk about it. They'll run. But look, I do want to see people treated fairly. That's what it's all about.
Mr. President,
I mentioned the other day, you saw what I did with the woman. She's in jail for 23 years on charges where other people are out after 3 months. I thought it was very unfair. It was brought to, and she had another 20 years left, okay? She was 63 years old.
Talking for them.
What?
What about all those folks who don't have Kim Kardashian speaking
Well, I'm looking at them too, if you don't mind.
Can I bring you back to the Mr. President? Can I bring you back to Mr. President? Attorney
Cohen might flip.
Look, I did nothing wrong. You have to understand. This stuff would have come out a long time ago. I did nothing wrong.
Is
I don't
Michael
do anything
Caruso
wrong.
your friend?
It's really nice.
Is he still your friend?
I always
Is he
liked
still your
Michael.
friend?
I haven't spoken to Michael in a long time.
Is he still your lawyer?
No, he's not my lawyer, but anymore.
Your personal lawyer, and not
But I
anymore.
always liked Michael.
Are you?
And he's a good person.
Are you
And I
worried
think
he
he's
will
been.
cooperate?
Excuse me.
Are
Do you mind if I talk?
I just want to know if you're worried.
Asking me a question. I'm trying to ask.
Just want to know if you're worried if he's going to cooperate with federal investigators.
No, I'm not worried because I did nothing wrong.
Got it.
Nothing wrong.
Got it.
Okay?
Did you dictate the statement about Donald Trump?
Let's not talk about it. You know what that is? It's irrelevant. It's a statement to the New York Times, the phony, failing New York Times. Just wait a minute. That's not a statement to a high tribunal of judges. That's a statement to the phony New York Times.
So you think it's fine for the president to be using false statements?
Frankly, he shouldn't even speak to the New York Times because they only write phony stories anyway. Although yesterday they wrote a nice story about what a good job.
Mr. President, on to clear it up. Did you dictate
on the IG report, you've said twice now that it exonerated you and it proved there's no collusion.
If you read the IG report, I've been totally exonerated. As far as I'm concerned,
it had nothing to do.
Take a look at it. Take a look at the investigation. Take a look at how it started. Take a look at the horrible statements that Peter Strzok, the chief investigator, said, and take a look at what he did with Hillary Clinton. Take a look at. Take a look at.
It has nothing to do with collusion.
Yeah, I would. I'll tell you what. You're asking me about Peter Strzok being fired.
Should he be fired?
I am amazed that Peter Strzok is still at the FBI, and so is everybody else that read that report. And I'm not even talking about the report. I'm talking about long before the report. Peter Strzok should have been fired a long time ago, and others should have been fired.
Why is he being prosecuted?
I'm looking at Scott, and Scott's done a fantastic job at EPA, but
you don't see any problems with his ethical.
I'm not happy about certain things.
Is
I'll
this
be
job?
honest.
Could you fire him?
Excuse me. I'm not happy about certain things, but he's done a fantastic job running the EPA, which is very overriding, but I am not happy about it.
Do you think he's used his position for private gain?
I hope not.
But Mr. President,
do you agree with children being taken away from
No, I hate it. I hate the children being taken away. The Democrats have to change their law. That's their law.
Sir, that's
they
your
were
law.
forced. Quiet. That's the Democrats' law. We can change it tonight. We can change it right now. I will leave here. No. You need their votes. You need their votes. The Democrats, all they have to do.
You control both chambers of Congress.
No, the Democrats. Excuse me. By one vote, we don't need it. You need 60 votes. We have a one vote. Excuse me. We need a one vote. We have a one vote edge. We need 60. So we need 10 votes. We can't get them from the Democrats.
Mr. President,
now wait. You can't do it through an executive order. Can we do one question at a time? Wait, one question at a time.
Mr. President, why did
the children can be taken care of quickly, beautifully, and immediately. The Democrats forced that law upon our nation. I hate it. I hate to see separation of parents and children. The Democrats can come to us as they actually are. In all fairness, we are talking to them, and they can change the whole border security. We need a wall. We need border security. We got to get rid of catch and release. You catch a criminal, you take his name, you release him, and he never shows up again. He goes into our society, and then we end up getting him in a different way, oftentimes after he's killed somebody. We've got to change our laws. The Democrats have control because we don't have the votes. The Republicans we need more Republicans, frankly, and that's why I think we're going to do so well in the midterms. That and because we have the strongest economy in the history of our nation. We have the best jobs numbers in the last 44 years, top of Drudge. The best job numbers in 44 years.
Then why did Jeff Sessions announce a zero-tolerance policy at the border on May 7th? Is
Because
that not
he's following the law. No, he's following laws. He's following a law
that was a direct order to...
Can I answer your question, please?
Yes.
Okay, you're just asking me the same question over and over. He's following laws, very simply, that were given to us and forced upon us by the Democrats.
But there's no law that says families have to be separated at the border.
The Democrats gave us the laws. Now, I want the laws to be beautiful, humane, but strong. I don't want bad people coming in. I don't want drugs coming in. And we can solve that problem in one meeting. Tell the Democrats, your friends, to call me.
Mr. President, at the end of the Fox and Friends interview, you said that you were going to spend Father's Day weekend doing work, and you said that you were going to have a call with North Korea. Who are you going to talk to in North Korea?
Well, I'm going to speak to people in North Korea, and I'm going to speak to my people who are over in North Korea, and a lot of things are happening, and I will tell you this. We now have a very good relationship with North Korea. When I came into this job, it looked like war, not because of me, but because if you remember the sit-down with Barack Obama, I think he will admit this, he said the biggest problem that the United States has, and by far the most dangerous problem, and he said to me that we've ever had because of nuclear, is North Korea. Now, that was shortly before I entered office. I have solved that problem. Now we're getting it memorialized and all, but that problem is largely solved, and part of the reason is we signed, number one, a very good document, but you know what, more importantly than the document, I have a good relationship with Kim Jong-un. That's a very important thing. I can now call him. I can now say, well, we have a problem. I told him, I gave him a very direct number. He can now call me if he has any difficulty. I can call him. We have communication. It's a very good thing. People are shocked that this is the kind of, they thought Trump was going to get in. He was going to start throwing bombs all over the place. It's actually the opposite. But we're building a military so strong, $716 billion. Next year, 700 this year. We're building a military so strong, nobody's going to mess with us. But you know what? I never want to have to use it.
Can you tell us
Is he going to the White House?
Americans they can sleep well at night. You told Americans they can sleep well at night. You told Americans that they can sleep well at night. And you were clear there are no more
verification process going to look like? What's the verification process?
We're going to have a very strong verification process. Now, if you read the agreement, with most of you didn't, point after point after point he gave, including getting back the remains of our great heroes, okay? Right. Of our great heroes, which made some people are crying in the streets. They're so happy. Nobody thought we were going to get that. Point after point. All they said about me is, you met, he met, it's terrible, he met. Of course I met. Meeting is a good thing, not a bad thing. By the way, it was good for the United States. It was good for them. I spoke with China. They're very happy. Actually, they were much happier. Now, they may not be as happy today because of what I'm doing with trade. You probably heard that. I assume it's been announced by now. But we're putting tariffs on $50 billion worth of technology and other things because we have to, because we've been treated very unfairly. But China's been terrific. President Xi has been terrific. President Moon, everybody, we're all working together because of me.
Mr. President, how long will you give Kim Jong-un to follow through on denuclearization?
Well, we're working it as fast as possible.
Is he coming to the White House soon?
Back on?
We're working it as fast as possible.
What do you think about the charges against Paul Manafort?
We're working denuclearization as fast as possible.
How long? You said there were additional sanctions. Are you planning to meet with Putin this summer?
It's possible that we'll meet, yeah. And I thought, this all started because one of you asked, should Putin be in the G7? I said, no, he should be in the G8. a few years ago, Putin was in what was called the G8. I think it's better to have Russia in than to have Russia out, because just like North Korea, just like somebody else, it's much better if we get along with them than if we don't.
It's always
possible. Just so you understand. No. President Obama lost Crimea, just so you understand. This was long before I got there. I want to make it so the fake news prints it properly. President Obama lost Crimea.
So it's his fault.
Wait. Yeah, it's his fault. Yeah, it's his fault. Yeah, it's his fault. President, just so you understand, because Putin didn't respect President Obama. President Obama lost Crimea because President Putin didn't respect President Obama, didn't respect our country, and didn't respect Ukraine. But President Obama, not Trump, when it's my fault, I'll tell you, but President Obama gave away that. Now, President Obama, by not going across the red line in the sand that he drew, I went across it with the 59 missile hits. But President Obama, when he didn't go across the red line, what he gave away, nobody even knows. But just to put it one more time, President Obama gave away Crimea. That should have never happened.